Hey guys, what's going on? It's Karl here, and this is my review of the Galaxy S5, the latest flagship from Samsung, and I've used this phone exclusively over the past month, so I can give you guys my honest review and opinions if this phone is worth picking up. As I've used this phone more in depth than say the average review on YouTube, I feel that it comes down to 3 or 4 different qualities that this phone possesses that will either make or break your decision. Before we get into those, we'll quickly go over the physical hardware of the phone in case you guys already haven't seen it. The back is made out of a soft touch dimpled plastic, which many compare to the likes of a Band-Aid, especially the gold version. It's better than the previous gen S4s, but it doesn't really compare to some of the other smartphones like the HTC One M8 or even the iPhone 5S. On one side we have the volume rocker, and on the bottom we have a USB 3.0 charging port that has a small flap cover, and that's to ensure that the phone remains IP67 certified, which blocks all water and dust from it, but we'll get to that a bit later. On the other side we have the on and off button / sleep button, and lastly on top we have the 3.5mm headphone jack as well as an IR blaster. The front of the phone features 3 different buttons, 2 being capacitive, and the middle is the physical home screen button. On the right we had the back button, and on the left was the recent apps button. The back cover, which is of course removable, features a replaceable battery, which is always nice, the micro SD card slot for expandable memory up to 128 gigs, and lastly the micro SIM card slot. If you also take a look at the back cover, you'll notice that it's lined with rubber, and that's to ensure that no water gets into the battery or any of the electrical components. But in my opinion, this is one of the biggest selling factors of the phone, the fact that it's IP67 certified, which means it's both water and dust resistant. I did a full water test and even dunked this phone into a toilet, and I'll leave that down below in the description box. But needless to say, this survived more than 8 to 9 minutes in a toilet fully submerged underwater, which means you should have no worries in getting this phone wet. Despite this phone being completely waterproof and dustproof, we still come down to the final conclusion of build quality. When we compare this to one of the main competitors, the iPhone 5S, the Samsung Galaxy S5 just feels so cheap in your hands, and the plastic chrome trim around the phone doesn't give the device any sort of brownie points either as well. I really think Samsung needs to reevaluate their design process for say the Galaxy S6 if they want to compete in terms of build quality with the likes of HTC or Apple. And another big selling point of the S5 was the introduction of a fingerprint sensor. Much like the Apple iPhone 5S, you can use your fingerprint to unlock your phone. It provides a quick, easy, and relatively foolproof way to add extra security to your phone. That's unfortunately where the similarities end, whereas the iPhone 5S works almost every time, I would say 99 out of 100, but unfortunately on the S5 it works less than half of the time. On this device you have to swipe downwards on the physical button, and if you want to use this one-handed with your thumb, you're lucky to get this to work at all. Another big selling feature of this phone was the inclusion of a heart rate sensor or monitor on the back of the device. And more than anything, I think this is a bit of a gimmick, and I don't want to get mad at Samsung for promoting physical activity, which is super awesome, but I don't think the placement of a heart rate sensor should be a reason to either buy or not buy a device. It's a nice little extra perk, but that's about it. I don't think every single person out there will use this on a day-to-day basis, and half the time, even when I'm in the gym, I forget to use this myself. If you're a huge fitness buff, I think this could be greatly paired with a Galaxy smartwatch, but other than that, unless you're showing this off to your friends as a gimmick, you won't really use your heart rate monitor too much. The rear of the S5 features a pretty decent camera though. It's a 16 megapixel shooter and it's capable of 4K video recording. The camera interface is also quite streamlined and provides numerous different options that you can choose from. From here you can change the likes of ISO, white balance, and exposure, and on video options, as I mentioned, you can shoot in ultra high def, and that's 3840 by 2160, and you can even choose ultra slow-mo, which is 120 frames per second. Here are a few sample shots as well as video footage. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. In terms of performance, the S5 has the latest Snapdragon 801 chip with a 2.5 GHz quad-core processor with Adreno 330 GPU. It also has 2 gigs of RAM and expandable memory up to 128 gigs, along with a 2800 mAh battery. As it has the latest and greatest hardware, of course it performs accordingly as well. Almost every single thing that you throw at the S5, daily tasks such as checking your emails, browsing the net, multitasking between videos, playing hardcore 3D games, this thing will handle without any trouble whatsoever, as it is the latest flagship, and of course it should for this kind of money. It retails for $200 to $300 on a contract, and if you're getting this fully unlocked, you're looking at around $700 to $800. In terms of software, it is running Android KitKat 4.4.2, the latest version of Android, and of course has Samsung's patented TouchWiz skin over top. There's been a few extra modifications to TouchWiz. Things are getting better, but as I mentioned in all my Samsung videos, I do prefer the look and feel of stock Android more. And that wraps up my review of the Samsung Galaxy S5. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I love how this thing is fully waterproof. It can take a complete beating and still survive. But in terms of build quality, I think this is something that is still lacking in the Samsung department. If you guys ever see this video, please change up your S6 for you're in fear of losing that build quality to the likes of HTC as well as Apple. As I mentioned, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and give this video a good old thumbs up if you want to see the S5 as a future giveaway. Hint, hint. Anyways, guys, I will catch you in my next video. Peace.